Once I stopped trying to prove myself to other people, everybody else followed. Starting a business isn't easy by any means, but being broke isn't easy either.
Oh, that's tough too.
That's really tough. And you'll never know if you don't do it.
Yeah.
A closed mouth don't get fed.
Yeah, not on this boulevard.
No. Everything that I went through gave me the knowledge and molded me into the woman that I am today. I think I eventually want to
Welcome back to another episode of Finally Motivated. I'm here with Debbie Rayner. She's a very hard worker. I just really trust in her work ethic, and I'm very curious about how she became such a wonderful, amazing individual. So Debbie, thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you for having me.
I know there's so many layers to just a person in general. You know, have you always been entrepreneurial?
So, if you're asking me, if I ever thought that I would be, doing what I'm doing today, no. But I've always been a hustler at heart. Even, when it came to making, wrong choices. So I'm going to, touch on a little bit of where I came from. First off, I was a very young mom. I had 2 kids by the age of 15. When I was about 18 or 19, I ended up meeting a guy that I was with. And at the time, he was, to be honest, selling weed. And he introduced me to that lifestyle. And it was kind of off to the races from there, fast money, having the finer things, whatever you wanted. It was just easier to do that versus a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Fast forward years later, after, me and him had broke up, I was already in the game per se. So I was doing it on my own, making money, the fast way. Remind you, fast money isn't always good money. It could lead you down the wrong path, as it did for me. We'll be here all day if I tell you every little detail, so I'm just going to speed up the process. With that lifestyle, the end result is never good, I ultimately ended up going to prison 3 times, for drugs. And the last time I went to prison, I told myself, I don't want to see my kids grow up in pictures anymore. It killed me. And it wasn't fair to them. So I made the conscious decision when I came home to do something different. And it wasn't easy. I lost everything I had. So when I said fast money isn't good money, everything I purchased or got with that fast money was gone. My dad had passed away, my mom had passed away. I just felt like my whole life was crashing down on me, and I knew I had to do something different. So for a while, I worked a regular 9 to 5. I was working at a fast food place. Quickly after I started, they offered me a manager position. And then a month later, they offered me a general manager position and gave me my own store. So for almost 10 years, I was busting my back for another company. Early mornings, late nights. There was times that I worked 7 days a week just to pay my bills, doubles. It was crazy. And at that point, I realized, like I said, I've always been a hustler at heart. I had to do something that made more sense, something that made me happy. Because if you find something you love, you'll never have to work again. So fast forward in 2019, I was still a manager. And I started a jewelry business. And right in my home, I took one of the bedrooms, I turned it into a complete jewelry room. Was very successful with that. I would go live on Facebook. I did very, very well. Fast forward to 2021, I went to Vegas for a convention for my business because I was so successful. And this was during the pandemic. Unfortunately, I ended up getting COVID. I came home, I gave it to my boyfriend and my son, and unfortunately, 13 days later, he lost his life. Not my son, my boyfriend. He lost his life to COVID.
So sorry.
Yes, so at that point, I was emotionally broken, and like I just went like on a downward spiral for a few months. I couldn't even walk into my jewelry room because I didn't understand how something I loved so much destroyed my life in a way. Um, Trying to be strong while you're breaking on the inside, but trying to be strong for your child is like the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. Um, so for a while, I kept that jewelry room. I just closed the door because every time I walked in, it was a constant reminder. Um, I skipped a part. I did eventually stop working as a manager because I was so successful with my business. Um, but after he passed away, like I said, I closed that door. I couldn't go in there. But then I got into like not a financial bind yet because I had a good amount of money in my savings account, but I wasn't bringing no money in, and all this money was going out to bills and stuff. So I started working at a sober living house. I loved it because I love people. So I was trying to help people get sober, show them there's a way of life outside of, drugs, alcohol, whatever their addiction was. Well, unfortunately, that company went downhill. I got laid off. Went into a dark space again. And then it was probably about a month. Bills were getting behind. And I'm like, I can't do this. And one day I just woke up. And like with my business now, I clean houses for a living. I've always cleaned off and on, like over the years. But I literally just woke up that one day and I went to the store and I bought all my cleaning supplies and I started advertising on social media. Um, it was a little hard in the beginning, because I really didn't know how to advertise a cleaning business. And I'm looking for like little logos on social media that I could use. You should see my logo that I used to use. It's so cheesy
Yeah.
looking. I love my logo now. But yeah, starting my cleaning business didn't cost a lot of money. Um, but it costed time. Sometimes you gotta cut your throat when it comes to prices when you're just starting out, to get your name out there, and that's okay. Starting a business isn't easy by any means,
No.
but being broke isn't easy either.
Oh, that's tough too.
That's really tough. So like I say all this to say, don't think you can't do something because you made mistakes in your life, because you can. People tend to look at people who've been in trouble or been in the prison system, that they're untrustworthy. And people tend to believe that because they get told that so much. Today, I can't even tell you how many keys and codes I have to $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 houses. And it's good. It feels good that people trust me again. I did when I came home from prison the last time. I felt like I always had to focus on proving myself to people. And I felt like that kept me kind of stagnant. But once I stopped trying to prove myself to other people and proved myself to me, everybody else followed. Today, I'm a mother, I'm a friend, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a business owner. I have integrity. I love what I do. I love people. I have a passion for helping others. Don't think just because you've been in trouble that your life is over, because it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. You just have to find that little bit of motivation and just keep pushing forward. It's not going to happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight for me. Excuse me. I didn't mess my life up overnight, so I wasn't going to fix it overnight.
What did you want to prove to yourself?
that I can be better and do better. Um, that I didn't have to do illegal things in tough times to make money. That I can be not only a mother, but a present mother. A lot. Because kind of when you live that lifestyle of going down the wrong path, and then the light goes on that you want to change, it's kind of like you have to relearn how to live all over again.
Yeah, you're changing your identity.
Yeah.
So like your habits gotta change, like your perspective on life.
Yeah.
Like if I've changed my identity in so many ways over the years, honestly. And each time it just feels like, at first it feels like you're phony. Like, ugh, like I've only been doing commercial real estate for one day. Are they're gonna know?
Right,
They're not
right.
gonna get caught.
Right.
Like that I just started, and it's like, but when you think about it, there's always a day one.
Right.
And when you think about that, it reminds me that we have to give ourselves grace for that process of growing and believing in ourselves, because if we ever want to imagine a different future for ourselves, we first have to believe in something that we can't see.
Absolutely.
Currently.
Absolutely.
Beyond what people tell us we are.
Absolutely.
Not how do we ever get further?
Absolutely. And I did, and I feel bad that I even skipped all that. So I've always believed in God, but through this process, I definitely gained a stronger relationship with God. And without him, none of this would be possible. You have to have faith in somebody or something. I don't care who you choose. I'm not going to turn this into like a religious thing, but if you want this bottle of water to be your God, have faith in that bottle of water. Yeah. You need that.
Yeah, it's like there's everything that is created, an idea, like you wanting to get into the cleaning business. You had to have faith that it would happen.
Absolutely.
And then the evidence just caught up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It seems like you've always been a person of action. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get it done. Yes. Whether you get on board or not, you're still going to move. Where do you think that comes from?
My parents. By no means were we rich growing up. We definitely had everything we needed and some of what we wanted. But my parents were they had the drive in both of them. They never let us go without, no matter what. So I feel like being raised a certain way, certain things get instilled in you. And I just, I really, outside of that, like I can just thank my parents for it, honestly. Yeah. Because they weren't lazy. They weren't, just living off the system or anything like that. And there's nothing wrong, with getting help and, assistance or whatever you need to get on your feet. I'm not saying that by any means, but like if you want more in life, it's not just going to fall in your lap. Yeah. It's not going to happen overnight either. You have to get up and go get it. Nobody's going to hand it to you. Yeah.
And you're absolutely right about that. And what are your thoughts on how your environment can influence like who you can be? Sometimes, so for example, with me, I would look for examples of what's possible when I was younger. Like what is possible for me? Because coming here as an immigrant, my options were really, become a doctor, become a lawyer, get something real stable, get something that makes money and, stability. Right. And, my imagination I felt a little bit stunted in a way. Did you have any influences in your life that made you believe beyond what you um, beyond your current reality when you were younger?
Hmm. I can't really like put my finger on saying that anybody in particular inspired me to become who I am. I feel like it was more or less like the struggle and going through everything I went through
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that like there's more to life
Yeah.
and that I just wanted more. I wanted more for me, my kids, you know. And after Jerry passed away, is another thing too. Like he was 34 years old, so like
It's young.
you don't think that that can happen to us at that age, and it literally has put like a different perspective on life for me. So now, not only do I want different, like I'm looking into like other things, like future for my kids, because like I say it all the time, like if I go tomorrow, what do my kids have? You know, I have a big sneaker collection, but like, you know, what, come on, like seriously, this is the
You
stuff
got a
that,
nice sneaker collection?
yeah, I'm a sneakerhead.
All right.
Yeah, I am.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, right,
But
right. But like honestly, they don't have anything if I don't provide some type of platform for them.
yeah.
So like my future and that type of stuff is really what drives me
Mhm.
to keep, going and keep pushing harder. Like today, I have, I'm not rich by any means, but I'm comfortable.
Mhm.
I'm very comfortable.
Yeah.
My bills are paid on time in full.
Mhm.
I have money in different areas put away.
Mhm.
Um, I can do anything I want at any given moment.
Yeah.
If my kids need something, I could provide that. And that's what gives me the drive because there's some days, even though I love what I do,
Mhm.
that I don't want to go because
Yeah.
of, being
You're
tired or,
human.
yeah, or it's nice out. I don't want to go
Yeah.
clean toilets
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Like, but I do it.
Mhm.
I hold myself accountable
Mhm.
because I keep my eye on the prize and know that it's not going to get handed to me. I have to go get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You take a lot of ownership um over your life, and you've started. It seems like you've started over like multiple times in
Hmm.
different ways. What's that what's that been like? And like what kind of recommendations have you like no, not even recommendations. What has that been like?
Whew. Tiring at times. There's times that I felt defeated and felt like giving up. Um, because if you lose something so many times or you're starting from scratch so many times, you can just feel defeated. Um, but like giving up for me is not an option. Like I love life, I love my kids. There's there's still so much that like I need to do.
Yeah.
Um, so I just get up and start over no matter how many times I have to.
Mhm.
Brush my knees off and stand back up.
Yeah. Tell me about some of the things that bring you joy in life.
Hmm. Shoes, no.
No, if that's you.
Yeah, and my kids first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
And I also mentioned that I was a very young mom with my two daughters. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
39.
Mm-hmm.
I had two daughters by the age of 15,
Mm-hmm.
and my daughter Sierra, a few months after Jerry passed away, actually got pregnant with my first grandson, and he was born 3 weeks early on Jerry's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe in signs, and I believe not only was he sent by God, but by Jerry too. So that is my heart and my joy right there. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
says, you know, there's a difference between loving your child and loving a grandchild.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Really, really is. So, he definitely makes me happy. My children make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Waking up, having air in my lungs makes me happy
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people, don't wake up.
Yeah.
Um, I do enjoy sneakers and
Mhm.
bags and clothes and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the finer things. I've
Mhm.
always, been like that, but I also know it could all go in a blink of an eye.
Yeah,
So that's another thing I forgot to mention. Like when you work harder for something, you appreciate it a lot more.
that's true.
Yeah, so like I've had, a sneaker collection back when I was, making money the illegal way, and I
Mhm.
lost it all.
Mm.
But working harder for it,
Mhm.
I appreciate it more.
Yeah,
I wouldn't take those other material things back if I could.
yeah. How important do you think being grateful is?
Ooh. There's a difference between being thankful and grateful, and I can honestly say I am grateful for where I'm at in life.
Mhm.
I'm even grateful for where I was and the things that I went through because everything that I went through gave me the knowledge and molded me into the woman that I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you give yourself grace?
not really. Sometimes I try. I try to be kind to myself. um, but I still feel like I am hard on myself a lot.
Yeah, I get that. I can be very hard on myself as well.
Yeah.
I just always feel like, you know what? Not there yet. Keep going. Keep
Yeah.
going. I think part of it is just um I want to see how far I can go with certain things because I got one life,
I
you
say that
know?
all the time. You only get one chance at life. You don't get a do-over. Make
Yeah.
it count.
Yeah.
Make it count. And stop saying tomorrow or next
When
week.
you have today.
It's the only thing you can count on is the present time.
Yeah. What did young Debbie want to do when she got older?
You're gonna laugh at this. I don't really think I meant it, but I used to say when I was a little girl that I was going to be a cop and a robber so the cops wouldn't know that I was the robber. I
Well,
was like five.
he
I
was
don't,
like on the inside.
yeah, I don't know why. And I just why I laughed when you just said that because my parents used to tease me about
Uh-huh.
it. But yeah, like I
So
don't
you were
know.
committed to this.
Yeah.
That is
I
funny.
don't know why I ever thought that, but I used to say it all the time. I don't know why. It's so funny that you asked that. But in no way do I want to be a robber or a
No, no.
police officer today. I respect, our law
Mm-hmm.
enforcement. They do a lot and risk their life for us. So, but no, I'm happy where I'm at. And
Yeah.
like I said, I have a passion for helping others. I enjoy cleaning, I enjoy
Mm-hmm.
organizing, and I am hoping that one day I find the courage to go back into my jewelry room.
Mm.
I have a lot of inventory still and I loved it. I love it. I don't want to say love because I love it.
Yeah.
Um because of the interaction part with people. I gained so many relationships through that business.
I bet.
And I tell myself I can get back into it. Like I'm never going to stop my cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do both.
Mm-hmm.
Um it's just even 3 years later,
It's hard.
I have a hole through my heart.
Yeah.
I tried, like I went live a few times and it didn't feel the same, but there's also levels to the healing process.
For sure. You
Yeah.
can't rush it.
Yeah.
It's something that I think that kind of goes back to the grace. You know, we often think that we can do it all, because in our minds it makes sense, but it's just like when people say it's easier said than done. That's why you can never judge someone's process, their
Mhm.
journey, because it's much easier for you to say that,
Absolutely.
when you're not feeling what I feel.
Absolutely.
You know, like,
Another thing that like I like battled with too and I wouldn't say it would bother me today, but some people that are still doing the same thing
mm,
that they were doing 10 years ago, they'll make comments like, "Oh, you think you're better than?" Absolutely not.
mhm,
I don't think I'm better than anybody.
yeah,
Um, I respect the struggle, I respect the hustle,
mhm,
and I will never forget where I came from.
mhm,
And I am always all for trying to help somebody who is struggling, in certain areas.
mhm,
because I'm not better than you. I'm not beneath you. I'm not above you. I'm right here with you. And I just tried to be better than the person I was yesterday.
Yeah, do you, so you having experiences where you've seen and experienced struggle, it seems like it's created a really it's created a really empowering power of humility and being able to see other people's perspectives and be more empathetic. How important do you think that that is?
I think it's extremely important. I just like I want to say something like when I was a manager, this guy came in for an interview and he was fed up and frustrated. And I did his interview. And he had just came home from prison. He was like, everybody keeps telling me no. He was like, I'm just going to go back to my old ways and da 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 da. And due to his charges that he had per the company that I worked for, we were not allowed to hire him. I think he had like a gun charge or something like that. And like I said, the company that we were working for, um, he wouldn't pass a background check, which wasn't my choice. But I grabbed his hands and I looked him right in his eyes. He had tears in his eyes. And I told him, I said, all you need is one person. I said, do you believe in you? He said, I'm starting not to. I said, well, keep believing in you. I said, and then you just need one more person to believe in you, to give you a chance. At the time, my sister was also a manager at a different place. And I knew their background checks weren't as like specific as ours. After he left, well, I gave him my sister's information. I called my sister and I told her. My sister hired him. He ended up being promoted to a manager. The next time I seen him was like a few months later. He had a second job. He came up to me and gave me the biggest hug. And he said, I never forgot what you told me. He said, I thank you. I owe it all to you. And I'm getting like emotional saying this. I owe it all to you for just those few little things that you said to me to give me that little bit of motivation I needed to keep pushing forward. And I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I'd probably be back in prison if it wasn't for you.
You're so necessary. You know, like you matter so much because you're able to impact so many people from different walks of life where someone might have ignored someone. They might have ignored like
Yeah,
I think that's a big part of that might that might be a big part of your purpose. Like you're not alone and you're not, even though life may be difficult, you matter. What's helped you to believe in you?
um, short-term goals, being able to achieve them. Um, I wouldn't say I was the person who always looked for instant gratification. Like I know everything is a process, but like just achieving like even the smallest things have, helped and motivated
Yeah.
to like be able to continue to move on to the bigger things.
What does that look like with you going through so many different things, but also juggling business?
Hmm.
Um, what has that been like? Because you also you need to believe in yourself consistently. So you're saying that the short-term goals helps because it keeps you in motion,
Mm-hmm.
and that motion probably helps build your confidence a bit.
Absolutely.
Can you speak a little bit on that?
Yeah. So like you want me to speak like on like the building my confidence part
Yeah,
or like
what's that process like knowing that you're basically stretched in many different directions, in many different ways and directions. You played multiple roles,
yeah.
yet you continue to keep pushing forward.
Early
How do you do
mornings,
that?
very early mornings, late nights. I always say I don't have a 9 to 5. I have from when I open my eyes till I close my eyes. Um, I just, when I get like overwhelmed or like feel like I can't do this or this isn't going to work this way, I just sit down and I regroup, get a pen and paper, um, write down. Sometimes it doesn't, just go right into place like a puzzle piece. You have to maneuver things and work around things and move things around and, to be able to juggle not only like work, mom, home, like I'm a single parent, also. And I feel like one of the biggest things that I struggle with right now is mom guilt
Mm.
with my youngest. Um, because it's just me.
Yeah.
So like when
What
I'm working,
what
he's
is that? Mom guilt. Tell me about that.
just feeling like that I work a lot. But then I tell myself it'll pay off and it's a purpose, there's a reason,
Hmm.
why I'm doing this. So like I try my hardest not to work on weekends now because I was working weekends,
Hmm.
to be able to like have more time with him and be able to do things. It gets even more challenging like in the come August, he plays football and being, having a child in sports is very demanding.
It sure is.
It's very demanding. So like
What does he play?
football,
Okay.
yeah, he's gonna be he's gonna buy me a big house one day.
Hey,
He's
nice.
an awesome football player. He's a running back. He's great at what he does.
Mm.
This year will be his 5th year. I'm proud of him. But I thank God for, my football family.
Mm.
They know that like I'm a single mom and I have a business
Mm.
and um they'll pick him up. I never miss a game. Nothing will ever come in the way. I will have been to every game, but like practice and stuff like that. I get help, there with him. And I'm grateful because
Yeah,
it definitely takes a village,
for sure.
when it comes to a child, but wearing so many different hats, I kind of just go with the flow and move things around as needed. I don't have to say like I don't really have to cancel like clients or anything
Mm.
like that. I'm usually able to work it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that seems so. From what you're saying, you have nothing to be guilty for, and I know it doesn't. It's not about the reality. It's still going to be a feeling, and I
Mm.
think part of it is because you know what you're doing it for, and you don't ever want it to get in the way of what matters for you. Like your children are part of your inspiration. And
Mhm.
so when you're working, knowing that you're working for them, it's
Right.
still it still feels like, you know what, I'd rather be this or so I get that. But what I see from my end is a powerful woman that gets it done and takes care of what she got to take care of and remembers what's important.
Yeah.
Like
Thank
it
you.
seems like they're such a high priority for you. We all have to work, you know. Yeah,
Unfortunately.
unfortunately.
But that's why you find something you
You
love so it
yeah,
doesn't really feel like work. I mean, obviously you're going to be tired and go through
yeah.
like things with, any business you have, but I just I always tell people that find something you love
Hmm.
because like most people that work for somebody
Hmm.
hate their job.
Yeah,
So they every day don't want to go.
yeah,
So like find something you love. There's so many opportunities and so much money out there to be
hmm,
made legally,
yeah,
not
yeah,
illegally,
yeah, yeah.
legally.
Make sure legally.
Yeah, legally. You're like stop busting your back to make another company rich.
Yeah,
Like if you're good at something, do something with it.
yeah.
Like
Debbie, like not everyone has your confidence. How do they get to be like you and be confident to like um
starting over so much, starting from the bottom over and
mm,
over and over and over again. But like I've always had the drive, even, like I said, when I was doing illegal things, I was
mhm,
motivated, motivated. You have to have motivation. You have to have a want for something. You have to be hungry. You have to be thirsty. You have to go and get it. Like, anybody can have the drive. You just have to be, like, a lot of self-talk helps too.
Tell me about
Like,
that.
like I can do this. I will do this. I won't let this stop me. If a door shuts, I'm opening a window. You know, like, sometimes you have to detour through life, but that's life.
Yeah. Is that something that you just started um, doing, or is that something that you saw the effects of it from someone else? Like, oh, they do a lot of affirmations and self-talk and stuff. Like, how did you learn that that would be something that would help with your confidence?
I just feel like the things that I've been through, and like meeting certain milestones, just filled my cup a little more. Like, okay, I did this. Like I said, with the short-term goals, I did this. Now I can move on to this. And like, it's not always going to be easy. Like, sometimes you're going to have bumps in the road, but like, you're driving down the road, there's a bump. You're not going to stop and wait for that bump to go away.
Yeah.
You're going to go over it or
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
And you're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, like, you just got to
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Growing up, people would tell, people often tell kids, you know, you gotta think outside the box, right? But then they don't really mean that, because
Right.
thinking outside the box means it's outside of your rules.
Yeah.
And to be in to be an entrepreneur, usually there's a bit of a rebel in you.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Is there a rebel in you?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, there is.
So usually as you grow up, you're within certain um environments that tell you what to believe. You know, whether you we come into this world and we're installed certain programming. This is what you believe because that's what we believe.
Absolutely.
We believe in this way of looking at money. We believe in this higher power. We believe in like this school system. We believe in this neighborhood due to our limited, because we all have limited understanding. But the parents just do the best that they can, and the community around you just do the best that they can.
Right.
And you just happen to be in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's up to us rebels to think, you know, what else is there for me? Because I deserve something else, or I want something else.
Right.
And that can be so not only lonely when no one else sees like a different vision for yourself, but it's also a unique journey for every person. And for me, when not just growing up, but throughout my journey as an entrepreneur, I think I've always had to not only think outside the box, but be bold about thinking differently.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what really shapes and moves the world. And like there's always going to be something that happens. Why not have it come from my mind?
Right.
You know, I don't want to. I just don't want to die with ideas.
That's deep.
Yeah, I want them out, even if they suck.
Yeah.
And they will.
You're
Some
so
will.
funny.
Some have sucked for sure.
I'm sure. Well, it's trial and error, you know. But you know what? It's about taking the risk.
Yeah.
And doing it. You'll never know if you don't do it.
Yeah.
A closed mouth don't get fed.
Yeah.
Like,
Not on this boulevard.
no. Not at all. Yeah, I mean, I don't think any idea is a bad idea or a stupid idea. And you won't know, like I said, until you try it. And like you said, like, it's if you have an idea and you know you die tomorrow, what good is that idea if you didn't try it today or you speak about it, or you know? So
Yeah.
like I agree there.
Why do you
Yeah.
think it's hard for other people to believe and have the confidence to act on their ideas? Just from your experience, why do you think it's hard for other people?
Fear. thinking they're not good enough, um, just thinking that it won't work, stinking thinking. You got to be positive. That's where the self-talk comes in.
Thinking.
Yeah, tell yourself you can. You can do this.
What would you tell young Debbie? Because you've made, or not only young, not just young Debbie, but someone that was in the mindset that you were in when you were younger, to help them get through and continue to evolve and believe in themselves. What do you think that someone like that needs to hear?
Um, it might be like cliche, but like you can do anything you put your mind to, even if you have the smallest amount of faith or the smallest amount of motivation, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Anything. Don't let self-doubt hold you back. Don't let others hold you back. You are your biggest critic, and you take you with you everywhere you go. So as long as you are positively speaking to yourself, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need a little bit of motivation from somebody else as well.
Mm-hmm.
But self-talk is very important.
Yeah. What do you think is necessary for Debbie 3.0?
Debbie 3.0.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I eventually want to well, let me start off by saying this too. So a lot of people always ask me, "Hey, are you hiring? Are you, you know, my answer right now is no." And it's not I feel like I work too hard to get to where I'm at, and I really don't have time to be babysitting people to make sure, they're doing things correctly, or even worse, like somebody taking something from a homeowner or something. This is my name that I built, that I worked hard for. But like I do eventually want to like branch off and have like an actual like not a huge company, but like a company and like hire people. But I feel like that's where I'm struggling at right now and I believe in people, so I know
Mm-hmm.
this might be like not making any sense, but I'm a little scared to take that risk right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm successful for where I'm at now, but there's still things that I'm a little scared to do.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm not going to do it. I'm going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get to the point to having that company and hiring people. And just right now, my comfortability level isn't there with it, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes any sense.
Yeah, I get that. You've built something. You've worked so hard to build up not just your company, but who you are. And your company is a representation of your identity
Right. Like
in a
I,
way.
I drug myself through the mud,
Yeah.
with my past already,
Yeah.
and I finally got all that mud washed off. And today, like, people respect me.
Mm-hmm.
I am, a law abiding citizen and doing what
Mm-hmm.
I need to do.
Yeah.
So, like, to have somebody else take that from me
Mm-hmm.
over like a bad mistake or a bad choice or whatever, like, it is a little scary for me.
I get that. And the fear is a notification of something. It's a notification. It gives information into what do you need in order to feel a little bit more comfortable, if that's even something that you want to do. So if because you mentioned that it is an important thing, meaning you want to grow a bigger business, um,
I
but
mean,
there's
truth is, I'm gonna need help soon. Like,
yeah,
I have a lot of clients.
yeah,
Like, I do, and like there's days that I'm tired, but I'm grateful for it because without my clients, I would be nothing.
yeah,
But like, it's some days it's very, I have like very little wiggle room.
mm-hmm,
Those are the bumps in the road that I'm talking about.
yeah,
I find my way around it. However, it would be easier
mm-hmm,
if I had a crew.
Yeah. So let's say Debbie's cleaning business is like the hottest club in town,
It's
right?
Debbie's Deep Cleaning and More. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Debbie's cleaning, Debbie's deep cleaning and more. So let's say Debbie's deep cleaning and more um is the hottest club in town, right? And there's Debbie's in there, and also people in there having lots of fun, and it's a successful venue, and there in order for it to grow, there's like bouncers on the outside, and people that are able to make the business grow are outside. What are the bouncers telling them is the reason that they can't come in to grow the business?
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna go back to like the thing. Like my fears are like you don't know what people will do until they're put in certain situations.
Yeah,
Like truth of the matter is there is people in this world that aren't honest,
yeah,
that won't think twice and see a nice watch and throw it in their pocket, or you know say, oh well, I'm not going to clean this area because it looks clean to me.
yeah,
So like it's I don't have an answer,
yeah,
what is going to eventually make me feel better
yeah.
in that area.
I understand. You have criteria, but it's deeper than that. Because even if someone did have the criteria, I'm honest, I'm trustworthy, they'll still, it seems like there'll still be a fear. Because what if, you know, how do you,
It's just like me. Like when a new client, calls me or texts me or emails me and,
Mhm,
they're asking me questions, they're looking for a new house cleaner, blah, blah, blah.
mhm,
And I always tell them, I could tell you anything you want to hear. I could tell you I'm honest, I'm trustworthy,
mhm,
I'm the best cleaner in the world, but you're not going to know until you give me a chance. And I know that's the same for me. I'm not going to know
yeah,
until I give somebody a chance. But it's a big fear for me because I'm afraid of starting over.
mm,
I am. Like, it's just like any company, one bad review
yeah,
can crumble your
yeah.
business.
And then if it's not even because of you,
Exactly.
that takes away control.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
uncomfortable.
Very, very. It is.
Who wants to build a business and, you know, got built it from the mud
Literally.
and
Yeah.
and for some idiot to just
To
say
be,
not care.
did not care because it's not their name, or they're still going to get paid for the day, or whatever the case may be. It's
Yeah,
bigger than that for me.
yeah.
It's bigger, like just because, oh, one client. No, every client is important to me. My client satisfaction and safety of their home is my top priority.
Yeah.
And when I say I don't have time to babysit, I don't have time to babysit because obviously, if I had time to watch you to make sure you're doing what
Mhm.
you're supposed to be doing, I wouldn't need to hire you.
Yeah.
I obviously need you to be here so I can be here,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah. What do you think larger cleaning businesses do differently um, with the hiring? Do you think it's more? Yeah. What do you think they do
So
differently?
before I decided to actually start my own cleaning business, I this is when I got laid off from the sober living house. I actually had an interview with a cleaning company.
Mhm.
And this is actually what like really got me to where I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this. But she just asked me like basic questions. Like, and again, I could have told her anything
Yeah.
and she hired me on FaceTime.
Yeah.
Like that's how I interviewed. And I think it was something silly like and don't get me wrong, you have to start somewhere. I'm not like judging anybody for what they make hourly, but like $18 an hour or something. And I can't believe I didn't think of this when you asked me earlier. But this is part of the reason that I decided to go like
On your own.
on my own.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm like, I've cleaned off and on for years. I know the money that I can make,
Yeah.
number one, because cleaning is a lot of work. It is. Like on your body, like you're bending, you're reaching, you're like, it's a lot. And it takes a toll on your body. But $18 an hour, I'm like,
This ain't it.
no, because even like my prices are way cheaper than these big cleaning companies. But like most of the time, like I can make at least $1,000 every 2 days, if not in one day. Like and it's not me breaking the bank of my clients neither.
Yeah.
It's me giving them an affordable price, but it's still good for the 2 hours of work that I'm about to put in. And I'm doing multiple clients a day, you know, like, there's late nights for me, you know. You're probably thinking I'm crazy, but you and your wife know.
You got a hustle in you.
Yeah.
You got a strong hustle in you.
The money's a motivator too. It is. And I don't want to say that to say that like money makes the world go round, because money,
well, kind of does.
It does, but it is also the root to all evil as well. So
it
like
can
I don't
be
want
both, for sure.
I don't want it to get misconstrued there, because obviously you need money to live.
Yeah.
Obviously you want money if you like things and, want to finer things in life, but like, so like, yeah, money is a motivator. It is.
Yeah. I think money is usually is usually a part of the motivation for everyone.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's something associated with it. Like, why do you want the money? And
yeah, it's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And it seems with you, there's a big focus on security.
Oh yeah.
Like being able to not only create a legacy, but also to know that you and your family are taken care of.
Yeah.
It provides that security, so you're gonna hustle.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And like even like little things like if I don't have, a whole ton of friends, but it's quality, not quantity. I learned that as I got my circle used to be like I know everybody. I still know people, but my circle, no, I don't have time for just anybody around me today. But like if a good friend or a family member comes to me and like they're in a tough spot, the gratitude that I feel that I'm able to help them, that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Not like doesn't make me feel better than them, but it makes me feel good that like my hard work and my work ethic and my long days are able to not only provide for me and my immediate, but like people that I love and care about as well.
Yeah. So I think it seems like you understand like your value. Anyone that says anything about how like, keeping your circle tight and that's basically you protecting your space, because you know that you could be doing something else with someone else that would protect your space. And can you tell me a little bit about what that looks like with protecting your space? I know it can be hard sometimes.
I'm definitely picky with who I allow around me and the people I care about. I'm very big on like energy and vibes. I can like you or love you from a distance, because if you're not on, you don't have to be on the exact path or mindset as me, but you also can't be on no BS and thinking I'm going to allow you in my home, around me, around my kids, giving you a ride. So no, absolutely not. I know people who end up in jail for giving somebody a ride. No.
Just being in that same space.
Yeah, because you don't know what this person has on them or
Yeah.
what they'll throw under your seat or what they'll bring in your house and might accidentally drop or no. No. And just even like negative energy, like negativity, I ain't got time for none of that. You have to stay far away from me if you are negative
Yeah.
because I just been through too much in my life and what life I have left,
Yeah.
I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah. If you can control it, why willingly,
Absolutely.
you
And
know,
sometimes it even comes to
allow
like,
everyone?
yeah, and even sometimes family. Just because they're family doesn't mean you have to.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah, it
Cause,
is.
'Cause it's like you feel like you belong and you feel that guilt,
Yeah, it's
you know?
guilt, absolutely. But you know what? You can love them from a distance too, and you could feel guilty for it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to protecting you, the people you love, and your children, and your energy, and your vibes, and because if energy's off, that can like domino effect into like a whole lot of messy stuff, and we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So
Mm-mm.
I created a personality assessment for entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
right? To basically identify what drives them, like from the core.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I learned when I was doing the research was our hearts basically have like an electromagnetic field, the strongest electromagnetic field in our
Mm.
bodies. And I started thinking how important actually is that. The heart actually has um, a neural network the same way as our minds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a second brain. So when someone says follow your heart, it's really your heart is actually thinking about how you feel with the energy that is around you at the
Wow.
moment. Like when you're sitting around someone and you just know that there's tension. No one told you there's tension, but you could just feel it.
Mm.
It gives you insight into what is aligned
Mm-hmm.
with you. I'm aligned with people who are not only comfortable with who they are, but also they they they're loving,
Mm.
because I want that. I want
Yeah.
to be around more love.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if I
Absolutely.
had the choice, it's I'd rather be around more people that I feel like align with me, because my heart's going to feel that, and that's basically
And it
how to
just
follow.
feels
It
right.
just feels right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't follow that, where they know
Mm-mm.
this doesn't feel right, but they still do
Do
it.
it. Just be around anybody, anything, and yeah, no.
And that's dangerous, not only
Very.
in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
You could, like, there's been times where I know I've wanted, okay, I'll do this business idea, and then I'll do that business idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad my wife supports my crazy ideas, man. Because I think our electromagnetic fields are kind of like, okay, you're not crazy,
Right.
because that will just shut it down.
Right.
And a lot of times we're around people that will just shut down our desires and what we
Yeah.
want and what we're aiming for, what we're attracted to,
Mm-hmm.
and that hurts, man.
Yeah.
That hurts. What's something that you you're looking forward to, that you you would hate for someone to even try to attempt to shut that down, because
Oh. Like business wise or life, like
just Debbie.
just so a f- I don't want to really call it a fun fact about me, but like I've never really been on a real vacation before. And like I have the means to do it, but like to take the steps to do it, I drag my feet with it because it's doing something for myself.
Oh,
And that's like weird, right?
because
Like
you're the one that does things for people.
like my daughters, they travel all the time. All the time. Like my one daughter, she's going to Puerto Rico in like a week. My other daughter is going to Nashville in April.
Mhm.
Like and like they've been on trips so much, and I love that for them. I love it because I didn't do it when I was younger. But like I still haven't done it now neither. And it's not that like I don't want to. I just feel like, oh, like work's too busy, my schedule. Like, but in all reality, like this is my business. I can like, push off a week. So
Yeah.
I struggle in that area. I do. I
Yeah.
do.
What do you
I,
think you'll need so that that will happen?
Somebody to handcuff me and just take me on vacation. Like, let's
Mm.
go. No, I'm hoping like maybe like not through the summer, but like maybe when it gets cold again, I'm gonna plan a vacation
Where
somewhere.
would you go?
Um, I want to go probably Puerto Rico, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Why Puerto Rico?
I love like the water. You said, and like a lot of people I know have like been there, and it's just
Mhm.
like pictures they show me. It's just like so beautiful.
I want to I want to encourage you to make that happen.
Yeah.
We're actually going soon.
See,
So
see, are you to Puerto Rico?
yeah, to
Yeah,
Puerto Rico.
that's awesome.
And I want you to experience that too. And
Yeah.
not only
Have
that,
you
but
ever been there?
no,
No.
no, my wife went there with her sister and they loved it. And so like life is for experiencing,
Yeah.
and you have a um unique way of finding the good, not only in people, but in the experiences that you go through, and just because that gives you strength,
Yeah.
and you've had to find the good.
Oh yeah, because I've been through, I'm not like, oh, woe me, but like
Mm-hmm.
going from like never losing anybody close to you
Yeah.
for like a big part of my life,
Mm-hmm.
and then like my dad passed a month and a half later, my brother passed 6 months later, my stepdad passed, a few years later, my mom passed, numerous of friends because like, let's be honest, my generation was terrible when it came to like the drugs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost a lot of friends to that. And then losing my partner.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've experienced a lot of loss in my life. And I know there's more to life than just sadness. And I feel like that motivates me as well to keep moving on and doing what I need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Debbie, I'm so sorry for all the loss that you've had. You yeah, you don't deserve that.
Yeah, it's so I say the only thing in life that is guaranteed is death.
Yeah.
Um it just it sucks. It
Yeah.
does, but it's life and we don't have control over that.
Yeah.
We have control over how we react to
Hmm.
it.
For sure. It's just because I see I see how kind-hearted that you are, and I know that there's so much more for you, so much more waiting for you, and
Thank you.
I can't wait to see all of the amazing things that you continue to do, um not only for the not only for the legacy you're building, and the business that you're building, but also for you to enjoy,
Yeah.
you know, like, because that's important too.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna sit here and say like I'm not happy
Hmm.
or grateful for where I'm at in life because like I am very
Yeah.
much so. I feel like, as I explained to you, I just struggle with doing
Some for you.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But outside of that, life is great.
I know.
It is. And like I miss everybody tremendously who I've
Hmm.
lost along the way.
Yeah.
Um but life, it does go on.
Yeah.
I have to go on.
Yeah.
They would all want that for me.
Hmm.
Um you know, little things make me sad like, when my parents passed away, I wasn't living an honest life and today I am.
Hmm.
And I know they're looking down and they're watching.
Yeah.
I wish they were here,
Yeah.
but so that like keeps me going too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like life is life, and life's all the time. So you
Yeah,
just gotta enjoy the roller coaster ride.
for sure. So I can't wait for you to go to Puerto Rico.
My daughter was begging me to go with her. And I'm just like, I was going through something at the time that she originally planned it. And I'm like, I can't think about anything else right now but this and da 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 da. And she keeps telling me, she's like, I told you should have planned it. You should have came with us. Because like her and a bunch of her friends are going.
Mhm.
But I'll go eventually.
I like that.
I will. I want to, I need to, and I deserve it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We agree on that.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad we agree on that.
Mhm.
So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming here. I think there's a lot of people that you've spoken for a lot of people. You know, you've voiced you provided a voice for a lot of people that probably don't feel like they have enough of a voice, where yeah, life does suck. It does. But at the same time, there's so much within you and so much within so many other people around the world that where you can still add to the world and continue to um, be happy and find gratitude and things and continue to believe in yourself even when other people don't believe it.
Yeah.
You know, like you being able to be a catalyst for someone to believe, you know what, this isn't the end for me. Even though I had this past, I can still I can still be
Absolutely.
valuable.
Yeah, like I know I kind of was like all over the place and jumping around, with different things in my life, but like in a nutshell, like that's what it is. Like, but I do want to say if you are feeling doubtful and you feel like you have no hope and you feel like you can't because of bad choices or, financial reasons, like you can. Like you can.
Yeah.
Don't let your past determine your future or hinder you from moving forward. That's what you did isn't who you are. Yeah.
You heard it here, guys. What you did isn't who you are. Don't let your past determine who you are and who you will be. We can all change, we can all evolve.
Absolutely.
And those are all such wise words from a wise woman.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, Debbie. I
Thank
really
you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
How can people get in touch with you?
I have Facebook, Instagram. I mainly use like my Facebook for like my business. So Debbie's Deep Cleaning and More is my business page, or Debbie Rayner is my personal page. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.